Hello friends. Well, here we are. I'm back and would love to chat with you about what has been going on and the Schumann resonance. First, I just wanted to give you a little personal update, and then I will put a link into, down below where the chapter starts for the Schumann discussion if you just want to go there. Let's see, where was I? Well, I had mentioned a few videos back that I was really angry about something, and I've really been it's been interesting. I've been an observer of my own situation, and in the situation, needing to say, what do I want? What do I want? Do I want to stay? What's primary in my life? And sometimes, there's just so much anger that it's hard to get clear. And that's one of the reasons why I've been quiet. I've just felt like, it's just incredible. The things that I'm perceiving, because I'm a seer, and I'm a visionary in that I get visions of if something happens, I see where it could go. And that's why I'm good at my energy work, because I'm good at feeling the energy ping and then seeing where it goes. And, combined with other skills that I have of being able to interpret that or perceive images or whatever, that's how it all comes together. But so what happened was that I had found this adorable, wonderful thing that I liked to do locally, and what's transpired is I'm not going to be able to do it where I want, the way I thought I was going to. And so that was just, a shock. And you can see why in the image why I chose not to, because I declined to state the answer to the question about my status. I just said I declined to state. Therefore, I was put into a particular group, and so that doesn't have, rights or privileges. Just regular rights would be good, okay? Just regular the rights that we've always had. But anyway, it's been a very interesting experience, and sometimes it seems like we're being put into a choice, and the fact is and what I'm kind of seeing now that I'm on the other side is maybe it's not even a choice at all. The question that I had to ask myself is, what do I care about? What's important to me? And what do I want my life to be like? And what I came to was, what's important to me is following the guidance of the divine within me, following the guidance of my own soul. And my own soul said, no, don't answer this question, decline to state the answer, and I'll take it. I'll be with you. I'll be with you. If you keep asking me, I'll be with you, and I will provide you answers. That's what she, I refer to my soul as she, that's what she was gently waiting for me to come to, that she will provide me the answers, which I knew already, but I was feeling so much anger that it was a little hard, to check in. Well, at the beginning of this process, when I was feeling the anger, I thought, you know what? I have all this energy because, Mars and the sun were all together, and it was right around when Mars and the sun were coming together in Libra. And, what's interesting is that Hygeia, in astrology, Hygeia is the asteroid of health, and Hygeia entered Libra, and Mars and the sun kind of well, anyway, I don't want to go into astrology thing, but, and so I thought, you know what? I am going to apply this in a way that my divine guidance says, like, this is part of the human system. Sometimes anger is part of motivation. And I think anger, when it's linked with passion and motivation from a positive source within us, from our own source, from our own true nature, that's when this is a positive, okay? Because it spurs us to action in a way that supports us as a human being pursuing our soul path, pursuing what is in our highest good as we are guided to from within, right? This is a personal journey. What's right for me might not be right for another person, but the idea of following soul guidance can give us two different answers, okay? Each one in perfect alignment for the human being that got the answer from within their own selves. So here's what I thought. I just suddenly got this thing like, you know what? I've been doing these videos for all this time, and I'll tell you what happened. My money got pulled back by YouTube starting in the spring, and so I went into like this little kind of depression over it in the middle of the summer, and I just was like, you know, whatever. I'm just going to keep going, okay? Because my money went down. My money from YouTube is modest, but it went down like 2/3. And recently, finally, it came back about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It started to creep back, and I was like, okay, I see that. I'm just going to do what I did before. I'm just going to keep going, okay? So that's my attitude about that. But I thought, you know what? I have this beautiful, wonderful audience in the community, and I have these services, and, you know, in part being a Pisces, I'm a Pisces, I'm shy, which is ridiculous because I'm talking like literally to the internet, you know, to the world. Not really, I'm not talking to the internet of the world. I'm talking to my resonance construct, because that's what I set up when I started recording videos. I created a resonance construct, me and my friend Alex as well. You know, did that when I was working with her. And, you know, about who am I attracting? Who comes to my channel? And I set certain parameters, energy parameters, to call in the people that resonate with my work at the heart level, at the level of your own soul, at the level of who you truly are, that you resonate with what my work is. That's who I called in. And among other parameters, but, you know, where it's in alignment with my highest good, that you are part of my channel, and your highest good, that you're a part of my channel, but my highest good, because ultimately the highest good of me is the highest good of all. The highest good of you is the highest good of all, at the highest levels of soul, of source. So to continue the story, I thought, you know what? I'm going to let myself like step out a little bit. And so that's when I put out the newsletter inviting people, and I did it on the YouTube video, inviting people to do special crystal fair sessions with me at reduced rates. Because here's the other thing that happened. What happened was this is what it feels like right now. Okay, it feels like I'm just holding, you know, I'm just on the waves. The waves are all tussling around. The sand is shifting, and I'm just focused inward, just holding the point of existence that I am as the chaos is swirling. And let me just move this a little so you can see your hand holding this ball. Yeah. Anyway, so here's what happened, okay? What happened was, it started this summer again, when, you know, this is another thing that happened this summer. What happened this summer was that I participate in these crystal fairs, and they're so cute. I love them, and I've met so many amazing people. It's just been so delightful. And I sit and I just do my energy work around all these people with crystals and stuff. And I meet people, and it's so sweet, and they tell me all these interesting stories about their lives and their past lives, or I read it in the energy, and we just have this great time. But what happened was, after, you know, almost 2 years of not having them because of the lockdowns, what happened was the person running them decided of his own accord, without any, county laws in place, that he would start requiring a ID related to medical information. And I called him up and I said, I do not consent, and I do not consent to this. I'm not in agreement, because I think it's for the different reasons, okay, that I went through with him. And, you could just imagine what those are, okay? And he said, well, I was hoping I could get him to change his mind, after I went through all these different things. But no, he was just really firmly committed to doing it this way, and it's his activity. So, I just said, listen, I'm going to withdraw from the fair. And so I didn't get to do it, and I really missed, seeing all the people. But so when this work-related thing happened, and then the fair thing had already happened, and then I just thought, you know what? And then my money started coming back, and I think the AI likes me at YouTube. So when it was able to open the spigot a little bit more, I got more allocation. But anyway, let's see here. Yeah. So anyway, so what happened was, I thought, look, I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if you guys want to engage a little bit more. And I offered the sessions at the discounted rates, and it was so amazing. It was so amazing. I met so many of you. I met a big group of you, and it was just so great, and I loved our sessions so much, and I thank you so much for doing that with me, and I'm considering now doing it again. You can always work with me in my regular sessions. There's a link to my blog in the About page, and I think on the header of my channel, but I do them at regular rates, on an ongoing basis, but I think I might do the special again before the end of the year. More on that to come. So, listen, it was amazing, and it just made me so happy. It made me so happy in the midst of this chaos that was going on, where I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, every time I talk to, people related to what I was, my official training, work training and everything, answers kept changing and evolving because the situation was changing and evolving. But I let all that go, okay? And I just enjoyed doing this work, okay? And then the sessions were completed, right? Because we did it for a week. And then I went back, started this week, and I have made videos that I haven't put out yet because I was feeling really emotional, and I'll put out, hopefully I will put those videos out. We'll see. And in the meantime, what I feel like between, YouTube coming back and my views going up, and a bunch of you with my last videos, a bunch of new people came forward and measured me. They took the measure of me for my videos. They messaged me and sent me these really super wonderful emails. M is one of the people. Thank you so much for what you wrote. And there was another person, thank you so much for what you wrote, who sent me these long emails. And I really feel like it was amazing. My mind was just like, my whole self was just in such a state. And I apologize because, this is a little less organized than I usually try to do. Okay, but the last videos that I did, the last two with Alex, which were co-creations with her, but it was just so amazing. And like the fact that we came together in the moment, she just has this information that is so perfect, and I have this information that's so perfect, and it all came together. And then you guys, distributed the information in ways that were subtle enough that, you know what I'm saying? That I feel that it'll get where it needs to go, and I'm still just doing my thing, doing my little thing in my little corner of this, of the world, of my world, and your world, where we're meeting here in the moment. So I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the people who have messaged me privately or who have commented, because my comments have been very high on the channel recently. Thank you for that. Thank you for the people who did sessions. It was delightful to meet you. Thank you to the people who are new, who are watching the channel. Thank you to all my viewers, and thank you to people who have joined the newsletter. I'm going to put out another newsletter, I think at the end of this week, and this is just going to be a short one. I'm going to do the longer one once a month, and this little short one, which is a little update, and then I'm going to have this cool thing in the new newsletter. I've created merch. So this whole situation is going to be turned to my highest good, okay? Because it's going to put me doing what I am supposed to be doing, which is this work, okay? It's this work. And I've been dragging my feet for the longest time because it's hard to be woo-woo after, I keep telling myself, okay, wait, here's my shadow. Here's the shadow aspect. I keep telling myself it's so hard to be woo-woo. It's so hard to be like this woo-woo mystical person that I really am after hiding this part of me for my entire life, almost in my whole career. I was always reading the Bible verses when I was traveling for corporate. I was doing tarot readings, in my room, and then having big time, these big meetings, financial meetings the next day. But all this, I was always secretly spiritual. Okay, I was secretly spiritual, and I did not really cross those two worlds, okay? I really didn't, except for then one day. I was in New York City at a client dinner with a whole group of people, but the lady sitting next to me, she was a young lady about my age at the time. I was much younger. And she said to me, I don't know, she started asking me about myself, which no one did in finance. Like, no one cared, like, who you were personally, what your interests were. It was just about, like, what's the deal and all this. But this person started asking me about me and my life. And, like, her name was Gina. And Gina worked in the World Trade Center. And I've looked for her name, okay, because this was before the tower event. I've looked for her name in the list of people who didn't make it that day, and I haven't found her. So, she may still be out there, living her life beautifully. But it was amazing because it was the one time where a person in that field, like, it was actually this, there was another time, but that wasn't about the tarot. That was about me as another time. One person, one CEO, talked to me about me as a person and gave me personal advice. That was so amazing. And his name starts with an M too. And I'm really always grateful for these people. So what happened was, I gave her a reading, and she worked in the World Trade Center, and that was before the tower event happened. And for some reason, when I started writing and I started going online, I started talking about that event a lot, because in my heart, I was so passionate about it, because my dad came to this country as an immigrant, and he didn't speak English, and he loved this country so much, and I love this country so much, and I left finance because of my dream about being in New York City with the towers falling. Not that I didn't know it was the towers, with buildings falling all around me on big, huge chunks of concrete, and I didn't know if I was going to survive, and I didn't know if my team members were going to survive, and everything just came together, and I started writing, and I started sharing what I was perceiving, because after my divorce, and before my divorce, I was unhappy, and I started looking at the sky all the time. And I started looking at the sky, and the stars started moving every time I looked at them. And so I started a blog about all that. And then I started a blog where I could just talk about regular stuff, which is what this is. It turned into this energy work. And at first I talked about my work and my awakening, and then it turned into this. And And here we are now, and I'm at the precipice, okay? I just feel like I'm at the precipice of something new, and you guys are all here with me, and I'm so thankful to God for all the experiences that I've had along the way that got me here where I just didn't even know that I would be here. I'd be making videos, for goodness sakes. I'd be making films, essentially, mini films and documentaries about physics and energy. And if you told me this when I was in finance, that I would be doing this now, I think I would have just smiled. I sure as heck wouldn't have acknowledged you telling me that out loud, because I was still hiding that part of me. But it's a joy to be here with you, and it's a joy to share, and I look forward to, coming out with more and sharing more with you and seeing where that takes us. And I really just thank you for being here today. Thank you. This is where we're at in the Schumann resonance right now, and while it looks very quiet, I've been noticing something on the Schumann. And I'm just going to go through the images, and then I will do another video that's more really Schumann focused. But I just felt like I had to turn on the recorder and just talk, because I keep telling myself, it's been emotional, and it's been just like I want to talk about all these different things. And I don't know, I just thought I can't even organize it in my head. So I'm just going to start talking. And I just want to tell you what I'm perceiving in the energies of the Schumann. Okay? Now, the first thing is, as you all know, it's much more blue. Okay? It's much more blue. But there are these patches of this green here. And I've been noticing that, to me, these feel like very, very big energies, because I've been perceiving like faces in them. And I apologize, because usually I try to say who messaged me or who pinged me, but I'm just not organized enough to do that today, okay? But someone pinged me and said, showed me they were seeing something. And then another beautiful young lady messaged me and showed me she was seeing something here. And the energies are so big, okay, that I'm seeing in here. I'm gonna say something about that in a second, but before I move, I want to also show you this. You know what this reminds me of? This right here. It reminds me of the face that we saw behind this big portal opening when we were having all those vertical white lines in the chart. And then at one point it was like the gateway was open and there was this like weird skeleton alien, that's an interesting word, alien face, okay? And it was like this, okay? But now it's hidden. It's hidden behind here because it's hiding, I guess. I don't know. But you can see here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw it because why not? I just feel so, I just feel kind of like, why not tonight? Let's just do it. Okay, so it's like this. La, 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 la. See behind here. And then you got like the bottom of the like skull here. But you know what? There's also these eyes here. Okay, you see that? And I didn't draw the other one. Hold on. Yeah, those big eyes, and actually, do you see right here? Okay, all right, first I'm gonna move this a little, just slightly. Okay, now look at this. See, oopsie. Okay, I'm gonna make a big red dot. Okay, now I'm gonna take it away right there. I want you to look. Okay, do you see? Okay, so see, there's like, it's around here, and then there's this little pixel there. Okay, Okay, see, it's like round and this little pixel, and then it almost kind of goes out like a little bit of an oval shape. See that? I'll make it a little smaller because sometimes it's easier to see. And then now I'm going to remove the skull because sometimes it's easier to just see it with your mind's eye. So just like those children's books where it invites you to shift your vision, to just kind of relax. And what I would do is I go into the center, like, well, early on when I was learning this, you go into the center of your head, like where the pineal is, and then you just sort of let your vision relax and shift. And you do not need any drugs to do this. I think I'm not an advocate of that, but anyway, so you let your vision shift, and anyway, what I see there is an eye looking at us through the dashed lines here. And as my delightful young friend mentioned, that yes, we are getting these lines into the alpha and then into the beta. Really kind of a gentle blue line here in the high beta. Bum, bum, bum. This is really interesting. Here are all these little straight lines in a row. I'm not sure what that is. That looks a lot like, it has the energy of these codes that we saw last time, but I don't see something specific code-wise. Now, another woman messaged me and said that her friend was seeing runes. And see, if I look here, this looks runic to me. Does it look that way to you guys? Any of you guys who... I actually am familiar with the runes. I used to do rune readings, among other, for myself only. Well, actually, I did them for a small number of people. But yeah, look, this looks like that H with the sideways line. I don't know, anyway. It's very interesting. Okay, so maybe they're codes, but they're in rune language. I don't know. All right, now I want to go back to... Okay, so we have this kind of alien head. I kind of view this as the energy of whatever the controllers are. I don't know what that is. Okay, but there is obviously an energy of the controllers present, right, in our society, in our world, in our group discussions now. Now here are those little up and down lines I talked about in my last video, okay? And here's another one right here. And, I just wonder if it's kind of like another aspect of coding, like if you ran it through. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, they used to do tests for students, and you had to fill out these little ovals, and then they just run that through the computer, and the computer would interpret it, right? And I think computer programs worked like that too. Well, I just wonder that if you lined up some of these lines, if it would give us a message. Here they are much more clearly. I referenced these in the last video about codes. But now what I want to do is I want to look back a couple days and show you more of these big figures I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm talking about this here as well. Okay, here's another one here. And these are really, really big energies. Let me go back a couple more days. Dun, 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 dun. Right, yeah, I'm talking about this here. That there was, let me just see, there was one. Dun, 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 dun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Look at these energies here. Okay. Not there. It hadn't started there. It started here. Okay. Do you see the bottom here? It just, to me, it looks like these big, big faces. And it has a energy of like, I don't know, the Easter Island heads. Here we go. It's going to be in here. I just found where I had all the... Okay, here we go again. Here we go. Look at this. This one in particular, I don't know if this is American Indian or if it's like the ancient peoples that were here before. I see the eye here again. Tell me if you guys can see the eye here. But I see an eye here. Okay, here's the nose. Here's look at those cheekbones and the jawline. And it's almost like the blue here, like hair around this figure. It's so incredible. I don't know, it looks like ancient peoples, but like so much more than that. The wisdom, like a shamanic feel to it. It's incredible, and it also feels like these big earth energies. This was on October 13th. Okay, here's another one. Here. I'm going to go back to this one. And what this is reminding me of is that one time I was in Utah, and I have the fan on because of the background noise tonight. But one time I was in Utah, and I was by myself. My friends had, I don't know what they were doing, okay? But they were off on an adventure or something. And we were in Lake Powell, so it was deserted. And I was at the bottom of this incredibly tall cliff, hundreds, I don't know how tall it was, a couple hundred, 300, 300, 400, I don't know, feet high. And at this time, I really wasn't in any good grasp of my energy skills, okay? I mean, I had a grasp, but well, I'll just tell you the story. So what happened was I did what I raised myself up to the top of the cliff because I felt a presence. It wasn't a presence like a being, like a person or like an entity. It was the entire cliff, like the consciousness of the rock face. Suddenly I could perceive it. And I remember there was this yellow jacket that buzzed around me a couple times. And I perceived that like the point of consciousness was much, much higher above me. So I raised myself up, okay? Now, in terms of my training with energy and spiritual matters, I was very, 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 I had my training wheels on, okay? But, so I essentially raised myself up to the height of this cliff being, okay? And I was like, hey, I can't remember what I did, but I like asked it a question. And now this was before I understood what bilocation was. And right then, like the wind picked, okay, all these things happened at the same time. The wind picked up, the yellow jacket came around to my face. Some kind of a gust just whooshed at me, and there was like these little, when you're near cliffs and there's these little tiny rock things that, like little tiny rock sounds you'll hear, like this little tiny bits of dust and rock just whoosh onto the ground, okay? Scatter, scatter, scatter on the ground. And all of that happened at the same time, and bam, I was back in my body. And I considered that the presence had been kind to me, but it was kind of like it was like the most gentle slap down, okay, that it could have given me. But I got the message, and I did not go out and try to rise up and talk to that cliff being again, okay? Because I was inappropriate in my approach. I didn't have the proper training. I didn't have the proper energy. I didn't have the proper attitude of approach. I didn't have the proper respect. I didn't have the proper reverence. I didn't have the proper love for myself and for God, for the divinity that is within all things, including the incredibly huge cliff being, all right, that is a part of Gaia, the planet Gaia, the consciousness, a part of the consciousness of Mother Earth, and yet somehow a distinct entity in that moment. It was incredible. I felt quite small in that moment. And when you go to a place that's so remote, where nature is so big, and at any moment you just have this feeling like, holy cow, like if it got just super hot and I didn't have enough water, or if this happened or if that happened, like it's just incredible. And it was an amazing experience to be in that nature and in that wilderness and just have a peek into this, the energy of this massive, massive nature spirit on the cliff. And when I look at the chart, okay, and this has a tribal humanoid influence as well, okay, but let's look at today's chart. Or here's yesterday's chart. But when I look at this energy, okay, it's very similar, okay, and it's something that this, I don't know. I don't know if this can reach it, or if it's aware of it, or what. Okay, I just don't even know. Okay, but it doesn't matter about any other influence. What matters is what's going on for us at this time. And I guess what I would say is, it just feels like a time to tread carefully, to really get right with yourself. And here's a key, okay, to ground within the self, to ground in the self. I'm grounded into my own soul and my own body, okay, because my body is the earth. This material, this living, moving, breathing body is the earth. It's all made up of Gaia, of Mother Earth. It's all made up of animals that ate the plants on Mother Earth, and other animals, and vegetables that grew from Mother Earth, and starches that came from Mother Earth, and grasses, and all this other kind of stuff. That's what this body is made up of, and love, and divinity. And the divinity that is within our own self, when we approach it with care, with consideration, with reverence, with respect, when we get right with ourselves, but also when we treat ourselves this way because we are deserving of this. And if we have stepped away from the truth of who we are, in the next moment we can make the choice to change. Okay, we can make the choice to change. And my experience that I described at the beginning of this video, if you listen to the whole thing or not, it's taken me a few days to just kind of live through it, work it out. And as I said as I heard or said to myself, my divine guidance was, I had to go through it, I had to live through it, I had to have the process of living through making these choices. And what is that like, and what does that mean to me? Okay, what does that mean to me as a living human soul embodied being? Now I want to go over two more things here. I wanted to show you this and talk to you about it. Okay, now in a similar vein, okay, here's what I get about this. This is around when I started my sessions, so it was kind of cool to be doing sessions when the energy was like this. But what I got here is the mother, here is the friend, here is the family member, here is one human being, here is the other human being. One is faced to the right, one is faced to the left. One is moving forward, one is stuck in the shadow or moving backward. One is moving into alignment with the truth of who they are. One is considering moving away. And they meet in the center here. And in the center here, this is where there's the opportunity for reconciliation. This is the opportunity for a new choice to be made. But when we approach each other, when we be with each other, when we approach each other from within duality, it's just like the same old thing. It's the same old paradigm. But if we are able to approach this situation to the best of our ability from within that centered place, from within that meditative centered place in the center of our being that we can achieve through a meditative state. When we are centered in prayer, in that communion with God, and when we're able to take that into our waking life and engage with another human being from that space, okay, it creates a space between us, a space where the detritus of previous engagements can burn off, where what has been stuck in our throat can move off and away, where the duality and the arguments in the past no longer matter, okay, because we're able to approach it. I respect myself and the truth of who I am, and I respect you, and I respect that God within you, your soul within you, knows what's in your highest good. I don't, okay? I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to approach you with reverence. If you've made a choice that's different from the choice that I have made, it's still okay. It's okay. And I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to do my darndest to remind myself constantly to respect that and not to try to change you. Yeah, I still work with that too. It's really come up for me big. Not changing other people, not try to change other people, not try to change your situations. And I'm talking about just in my regular life. It's been a blessing to see this in I don't know, bas relief. For some reason that word's coming to me. Okay, so that's the first thing here. Okay, now here's the next thing. Transformation, and then this was amazing. I was doing an energy session actually when this happened, and that energy session was so huge. It was incredible. We actually did light work. So it was light work for in a broader sense. So it was pretty amazing. It was it's like a beam of light. Look, it comes in and it makes contact. Okay, it makes contact here with the forces of darkness that are residing in the mid-beta to verging on high beta brainwaves. A solid line of green and then blue comes through all the way, accessing all of who we are spiritually. And this is an incredible energy for transformation and transmutation, but it's divinely sourced, it's divinely backed. Okay? And there's still that space there for the most part here with I view this as where we connect with the soul as well as at 40 hertz. That's just my take on it. Is it slightly up there? I think so. That slightly got the blue up there. This can also be a sword that removes the darkness. It can be the divine force coming through us, acting in the world, being present in the world because of our human form. When we align with divine will, then these possibilities, these miraculous experiences can happen. Okay? It could be part of justice occurring. I feel like I don't want to say this, but it keeps coming up for me, of a guillotine coming down. Okay, because we months ago we saw a guillotine in the chart. It was actually an actual picture of a guillotine. This one is like sideways, the blade, and you can see the action of the blade. So, are there dual meanings here? Yes, I'm now interpreting it in a second way. And then you have all this action as the energy comes down in action here on both sides. And then here, okay. This was interesting because this almost felt like from another universe. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen very often, but rarely over the years I've perceived what seems to be like energy from another universe. I think sometimes it's here visiting. I don't really know. And it's a specific type, okay? It's not like the Hathors are supposedly from another universe, but they don't feel like this. Oh, maybe it's, I don't know, is this a water thing? I don't know. We've got all the water in the background right now. It feels very springy to me and very like electric, springy, a really unusual energy. I just felt like a lot of this, this here clearings, a lot of like 3 crosses in a row. And then all of this agitation coming up in the low hertz, okay? This right here is where the line of consciousness is for alpha hertz, making it big, but so it may very well be in a lot of our waking states, it may not. Now the other really interesting thing here on the 18th about this image, as soon as I saw this, I saw helicopters. Okay, here's the body. There's sort of, here's the bubble, the white here. That's where the pilot is. Here's the blades, okay? And then here's the second set of blades, and then this one a little less distinct. But I saw this, and I saw helicopters. And I had flashes of various movies I've seen with military and military helicopters and heading off to do a mission. That's what I saw there. And then this was on the 18th. It's the 21st right now. Coming into the full moon. There's this hard line here, and I don't know what this is. Is it a stop? Like, is this part of a story that then stops? Is it divinity? The sword of Archangel Michael going with them? Ooh, that feels even better. It doesn't feel like a stop, actually. It doesn't. It feels more like that line in the sand. Yeah, it feels more like that line in the sand, divinity going with them, with these brave hearts. Wow. Look at that. And the energy of this military, it looks like a military action. Look, it extends into, like, I think this is about 20 hertz here. This is probably about 28 or 29 hertz, this blue line. But it's interesting that this is happening when we have this blue line lit up here in the high beta, which to me is, it's blue and white. It's like a spiritual influence, like a spiritual awareness. Like, this is more than a regular, first of all, it's more than a regular military operation. It's a mission, like a mission of the soul, a mission of, God working through these forces. But this has gone on for days, and so I think it's igniting that soul mission within each one of us as well, who wish to answer that call, right? Because everybody has different roles. Okay, everybody has different roles, and there's reasons for that are known by the divine. But I just see this, and I hear the choppers. Wow. Pretty cool. The human resonance. It's all about the vibe.